Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert T. Kiyosaki, the ultimate book summary. The book is the story of Robert T. Kiyosaki, the narrator and author, who has two fathers. The first was his biological father, the poor dad, and the other was the father of his childhood best friend Mike, the rich dad. Both fathers taught Robert how to achieve success but with very disparate approaches. It became evident to Kiyosaki, which father's approach made more financial sense. Throughout the book, Kiyosaki compares both fathers, their principles, ideas, financial practices, and degree of dynamism, and how his real father, the poor and struggling but highly educated man, paled against his rich dad in terms of asset building and business acumen. The rich and the poor mindset. First, the poor mindset is, the love of money is the root of all evil, while the rich mindset is, the lack of money is the root of all evil. Second, the poor mindset is a sense of entitlement, while the rich mindset is financially self-reliant. Third, the poor mindset is play it safe, while the rich mindset is learn to manage risks. Fourth, the poor mindset is focus on income statement, while the rich mindset is focus on asset column. Fifth, the poor mindset is I'm not interested in money, while the rich mindset is money is power. Sixth, the poor mindset is emphasis on job security, while the rich mindset is emphasis on learning. Seventh, the poor mindset is blaming others, while the rich mindset is taking responsibility. Eighth, the poor mindset is I can't buy it, while the rich mindset is how can I afford it. Now that we've gone through the mindsets that differentiate the rich from the poor, let's dive into the book's chapters and its lessons. Chapter 1, Lesson 1, The rich don't work for money. The poor and the middle class work for money. The rich have money to work for them. You are only poor if you give up. Life is your best teacher, but it doesn't teach you the conventional way, it pushes you around, asking you to wake up. Most people quit, while only a few fight. They see every push as a way to learn something new. Passion is anger plus love. When people think about money, they want to be safe. They spend their life controlled by fear and greed. Fear of not having money, and once they have their paycheck, the greed to get more stuff. They are being like the donkeys following the carrot. The boss gives them the carrot and takes them where he wants to go. Their job is a temporary solution to a long-term problem. Kiyosaki tells his readers to forget the notion that life teaches. He says the only thing that life does is push you around. This chapter talks about people who are more comfortable in playing it safe because they were not taught early to take risks. Kiyosaki develops the idea that the poor and the middle class work for money, fear and greed cause ignorance and poverty, and the importance of using one's emotions versus thinking with emotions. Kiyosaki also stresses that opportunities in life come and go. The rich recognize them instantly and turn them into gold bullions. Others do not see these opportunities because they're too busy seeking money and security. As Kiyosaki says, well, that's all they're going to get. Chapter 2, Lesson 2, Why Teach Financial Literacy. The story of Kiyosaki and Mike continues later in life, in 1990, and both the now adults have made incredible leaps and bounds in their finances and their socio-economic status. Mike was able to take the lesson from his father and apply them to his life. He took control of his father's large business and increased every aspect of the empire, and he is currently raising his son to take control of the company once he retires. As for Kiyosaki, he was able to retire at the age of 47 with his wife Kim. At a business meeting at the Edgewater Beach Hotel in Chicago, Charles Schwab, Samuel Insull, Howard Hobson, Ivar Kreuger, Leon Fraser, Richard Whitney, Arthur Cotton, Jesse Livermore and Albert Fall met to talk about different investments and money schemes. 25 years later, a report stated that a large majority of those extremely wealthy people that met in Chicago either ended up in jail, dead or penniless. The major idea to take from the results of these unfortunate entrepreneurs is that you need financial literacy to be and stay safe. The idea that was represented by the big 1920s entrepreneurs is still prevalent today, with some professional athletes making poor financial decisions and ending up with next to nothing. This specific lesson is meant to teach people not to be wise with their money once they have it, but rather be smart with their money before they have it. In a way, don't try to build a skyscraper or even a house without building a strong foundation first. According to Kiyosaki, there is one rule and only rule that can help a person build a strong foundation. Know the difference between an asset and a liability, and make sure that you only control assets. When it comes to beliefs about money buying freedom and the ability to enjoy retirement without fear of outliving one's money, this chapter catches the essence of Kiyosaki's advocacy for financial independence. He says, intelligence solves problems and produces money. Money without financial intelligence is money soon gone. Kiyosaki believes that financial literacy begins with a working knowledge of accounting. It is essential to know the difference between assets and liabilities. Rich people acquire assets. The poor and middle class acquire liabilities that they think are assets. Assets are what puts money in your pocket, while liability takes money out of it. More money rarely solves your problems, intelligence does. Remember the three Japanese powers: the power of the sword symbolizing weapons, the power of the jewel symbolizing money, and the power of the mirror, symbolizing self-knowledge, and it's said to be the most important of the three. That is why an intelligent person hires people who are more intelligent than he is. Investing in a house can harm in one of three ways: 1. Loss of time, during which other assets could have grown in value. 2. Loss of additional capital, which could have been invested instead of paying for high-maintenance expenses related directly to the home. 3. Loss of education. The middle-class salary is their sole income and their taxes increase with it, that is why it's called the rat race. Wealth is a person's ability to survive so many days forward, or, if I stopped working today, how long could I survive? People have to understand that it's not how much they make, but how much they keep according to Kiyosaki, and this is an essential principle that this chapter focuses on. Chapter 3, Lesson 3, Mind Your Own Business. In this chapter, Kiyosaki slowly introduces the concept of real estate investing and uses McDonald's as an example. He points out that McDonald's may not make the best hamburgers in the world, but owns the most valuable intersections and streets in America. Kiyosaki remarks that individuals need to mind their own business if they wish to become financially self-sufficient. They shouldn't mind their employer's business, they should strive for ways to become their boss and nurture their businesses. Kiyosaki continues his discussion on building assets. To him, real assets are anything with value: stocks, bonds, mutual funds, income-producing real estate, notes, royalties from intellectual property, etc. Financial struggle is often the result of people working all their lives for someone else. You need to focus on your assets column. Businesses that do not require your presence, you own them but are managed or run by other people. If you have to work there, it's not a business. It becomes your job. There are times when people can't find employment and starting a company seems like the best solution. But the odds are against success. 9 out of 10 companies fail in 5 years. Of those that survive the first 5 years, 9 out of every 10 eventually fail as well. So only if you have the desire to own your own company does Kiyosaki recommend it. Otherwise, keep your day job and mind your own business. When Kiyosaki says mind your own business, he means to build and keep your asset column strong. Once a dollar goes into it, never let it come out. Think of it this way: once a dollar goes into your asset column, it becomes your employee. The best thing about money is that it works 24 hours a day and can work for generations. Keep your day job, be a great hard-working employee, but keep building that asset column. As your cash flow grows, you can indulge in some luxuries. An important distinction is that rich people buy luxuries last, while the poor and middle class tend to buy luxuries first. The poor and the middle class often buy luxury items like big houses, diamonds, furs, jewelry, or boats because they want to look rich. They look rich, but in reality, they just get deeper into debt on credit. The old money people, the long-term rich, build their asset column first. Then the income generated from the asset column buys their luxuries. The poor and middle class buy luxuries with their sweat, blood, and children's inheritance. This chapter also reveals Kiyosaki's investment preferences, real estate and stocks. For real estate, he says he starts small, trades his properties for bigger ones and then delays paying taxes on capital gains through one IRS mechanism. After you've taken the time and invested in and built your own business, you are now ready to learn the biggest secret of the rich, the secret that puts the rich way ahead of the pack. Chapter 4. Lesson 4, The History of Taxes and the Power of Corporations. Taxes were levied in Britain for the fight against Napoleon from 1799 to 1816, and in America, to pay for the Civil War from 1861 to 1865. Kiyosaki states that the poor let the big machinery, corporations, manipulate them whereas the rich know how to use big machinery. This means that the rich possess the knowledge and savoir-faire to use the power of the corporation to protect and enhance their assets. The advantage of a corporation versus that of the individual lies in how corporations pay taxes, according to Kiyosaki. He says individuals earn money, pay taxes on that money, and live with what's left. The corporation, on the other hand, earns money, spends everything it can, and is taxed on anything that's left. Robert further explains that poor people first earn money, pay taxes then spend, but rich people or business owners earn money, spend, and then they pay taxes. Robert adds that individuals may not be aware of how much they're being manipulated. They work from January to mid-May to enrich the government by paying taxes on their income. In the meantime, the rich are hardly taxed. They always look for legal loopholes to avoid paying taxes and put more money into their pockets. That's why they often hire the smartest accountants and attorneys. Financial IQ is made up of knowledge of 4 broad areas of expertise. 1. Accounting is the ability to read numbers. 2. Investing is the science of making money. 3. Understanding the market, which means understanding supply and demand. 4. The law A of a corporation, the technical skills to wrap the previous skills for growth. Robert says being ignorant gets you bullied whereas being informed translates into you have a fighting chance. Kiyosaki advises talking to businessmen and investment bankers to learn about businesses. Reading and understanding of financial statements is a must to understand how a business operates. Rich Dad's Lesson: How do rich people protect themselves from heavy taxes? What's their secret? Corporations. Chapter 5, Lesson 5, The Rich Invent Money. In this chapter, Robert clears many myths about people like us, who often hear work hard, earn money, and then save money to be rich, but rich people never do this. They instead put their money into work, to earn more money. We need to understand that when we save money, we are even taxed on our saved money, which decreases our profit because of inflation. So we all need to change these average mind strategies and start developing our financial intelligence. We should learn to identify great opportunities and work on our greatest asset, the mind. He says the single most powerful asset we all have is our mind. If it is trained well, it can create enormous wealth. Kiyosaki develops the concept of self-doubt. He says that each person is born with talent, but that talent is suppressed because of self-doubt and fear. He remarks that it's not necessarily the educated smart people who get ahead but the bold and adventurous. People never get ahead financially even if they have plenty of money because they have opportunities that they fail to tap. Most of them just sit around waiting for the opportunity to happen. The author's idea is that people create luck, they should not wait around for it. He says it's the same with money. It has to be created. In the real world, it's not the smart who get ahead, but the bold. Today, wealth is in information. And the person who has the most timely information owns the wealth. Rich people are often creative and take calculated risks. If a mind is trained well, it can create enormous wealth seemingly instantaneously. An untrained mind can also create extreme poverty that can crush a family for generations. In this chapter, Robert Kiyosaki discusses the importance of education, although some critics say that he appears to downplay its importance. Kiyosaki is clear by saying, "A trained mind is a rich mind." In his analysis, there are two types of investors, each with a different mindset. Those who go for the packaged investment, and those who customize investments to suit their objectives. We learn to walk by falling. If we never fell, we would never walk. There is always a risk, so learn to manage risk instead of avoiding it. Kiyosaki encourages people to hire people more intelligent than they are because by capitalizing on the knowledge of others, an intelligent individual builds his knowledge base and therefore has more power over those who don't know. Chapter 6, Lesson 6, Work to Learn, Don't Work for Money. This is the chapter where Kiyosaki talks about the skills individuals need to develop for financial success. The readers are given an example of a young woman who had a master's degree in English literature and who was offended when it was suggested that she learn to sell and do direct marketing. After all the hard work for her degree, she didn't think she would have to stoop so low to learn how to be a salesperson. A profession she didn't think very highly of. Kiyosaki uses this example to emphasize that there are other skills people need to cultivate to help them on the road toward financial freedom. When it comes to money, the only skill most people know is to work hard. In school and the workplace, the popular opinion is the idea of specialization, that is, to make more money or get promoted, you need to specialize. That is why medical doctors immediately begin to seek a specialty such as orthopedics or pediatrics. The same is true for accountants, architects, lawyers, pilots, and others. Rich Dad's advice is, you want to know a little about a lot. Kiyosaki mentions management skills. He says individuals need to know how to manage cash flow, systems, and people. To that, he throws in selling and marketing skills. He puts equal emphasis on communication skills. He says many people have a scientific bent and hence have a powerhouse of knowledge, but they fail miserably in communications. These are the people who are one skill away from great wealth. Kiyosaki calls attention to one outstanding trait of great wealthy families: they give money away, plenty of it, unlike the poor who feel that charity begins at home. JOB is an acronym for just over broke. Where workers work hard enough to not be fired, and owners pay just enough so that workers won't quit. The main management skills needed for success are, first, management of cash flow. Second, management of systems. And the third is, management of people, which is the most difficult one. Chapter 7, Overcoming Obstacles. The primary difference between a rich person and a poor person is how they manage fear. The 5 obstacles which you ought to overcome are, first, fear. Nobody likes to lose, show me a happy loser. People are so afraid of losing that they end up losing anyway. John D. Rockefeller said, I always try to turn every disaster into an opportunity. Losing money is a fact of investing in life, and so is the fear that comes along with it. Kiyosaki notes that he's never met a rich person who has never lost money, but he's met plenty of poor people who have never lost a dime because they've never invested. Real estate investors who choose to act only on a sure thing are paralyzed by fear in disguise. People who can't see the big picture, and think big, are the ones who rarely ever succeed in investing or in life. Second, cynicism. Cynics never win. Unchecked doubt and fear create a cynic. Cynics criticize, and winners analyze. Everybody has doubts that affect self-confidence, and it's easy to fall into the trap of playing, what if? Especially when friends and family are constantly reminding you of your potential shortcomings. Things like the economy crashing, interest rates rising, and tenants not paying their rent are common what-if fears that all real estate investors have. While these are important items to consider, it's important not to allow the cynicism of others to overtake your control. Otherwise, you may become immobilized as opportunities pass you by. Third, laziness. What did Colonel Sanders do to his little chicken? He fried it. In today's interconnected world, it's easy to confuse being busy with actually accomplishing things that matter. In fact, according to Rich Dad Poor Dad, busy people are often the laziest. Busy people arrive at the office early and leave late. They bring work home to finish at night and on the weekends. Before they know it, the people and things that matter most to them have disappeared. Instead of giving in to the call of the rat race and mistaking action for accomplishment, successful real estate investors are proactive and take care of themselves and their wealth first. Fourth, bad habits. Habits control behavior. For example, most people pay their bills first before they pay themselves. The result is that there's usually very little left over at the end of the month for investing. Paying yourself first, even if you don't have enough money to pay other people, makes you financially stronger, mentally and fiscally. In a way, it's a form of reverse psychology. When you develop the habit of paying yourself first, you become motivated by the fear of not being able to pay creditors. In turn, you begin looking for other forms of income like investment in real estate. Fifth, arrogance. What I know makes me money. What I don't know loses me money. Every time I have been arrogant, I have lost money. Because when I'm arrogant, I truly believe that what I don't know is not important. Kiyosaki also maintains that it's not merely a question of balance but also focus. He recommends that the Chicken Littles of the world be ignored. They're only concerned about the sky falling, spending the rest of their lives in pessimism. He says he constantly hears people saying they want to be rich, but when it's suggested that money can be made from real estate, their initial reaction is, "But I don't want to fix toilets." Kiyosaki believes it's ironic that they're more concerned about trivia like fixing toilets rather than what lies ahead in real estate. As a final point, Robert T. Kiyosaki states that it is healthy to be greedy, so when faced with a decision, a person must always ask, "What's in it for me?" Chapter 8. Getting Started. This chapter serves as a section on tips to create and build personal wealth. There is gold everywhere. Most people are not trained to see it. 10 steps to start. First, find a reason greater than reality, the power of spirit. What Kiyosaki means by this is to wake up the financial genius in oneself by empowering the mind. He says that people must have a strong purpose for living. Second, feed the mind. By feeding the mind, the author contends that people acquire the power of choice. The choice is the main reason people want to live in a free country. We want the power to choose. Third, choose friends carefully. The power of association. Kiyosaki says to avoid people who proclaim incessantly that the sky is falling, and instead, encourage readers to spend time with people who enjoy talking about money, because they may have valuable lessons to share. Fourth, master a formula and then learn a new one. Kiyosaki believes that people should study one field, and then go out and learn a new one, although it is important to choose what one studies. Fifth, pay yourself first. The power of self-discipline. Even if short of cash, people must pay themselves first. This goes in tandem with managing 3 things efficiently: cash flow, people, and personal time. Sixth, pay your brokers well. Kiyosaki suggests being generous. He thinks it makes a lot of sense to pay one's broker well as he's an ally, and your eyes and ears to the market. Seventh, be an Indian giver. The power of getting something for nothing. Eighth, use assets to buy luxuries. The power of focus. Ninth, choose heroes. The power of myth. They are indispensable in life because they not only inspire but also make it seem so easy. They stimulate the human mind into thinking, if they can do it, why can't I? 10th, teach and you shall receive. The power of giving. His words are eloquent concerning this idea. There are powers in this world that are much smarter than we are. You can get there on your own, but it's easier with the help of the powers that be. All you need to be is generous with what you have, and the powers will be generous with you. Always look for new ideas, and read about something new to you. Chapter 9, Still Want More? Here are some to-dos. This chapter is sort of a supplement to the previous chapter. It gives readers additional tips to help them reach for financial rewards. Checklist of actions you can start taking today. First, stop doing what you're doing, that is, if it's no longer working or viable. Kiyosaki encourages readers to look for new ideas and to pick the brains of individuals who have experience and who have already done what one aspires to do. Second, Kiyosaki advises on keeping the learning curve alive, taking courses, buying tapes, attending seminars and reading. Third, make lots of offers, always with escape clauses, because eventually, someone will say yes. Fourth, while looking for real estate investment opportunities, Robert recommends looking in the right places. One way of doing this is to jog around the neighborhood one is interested in. People can acquire real estate even if they don't have sufficient funds for the down payment. In fact, with a bit of cleverness, Kiyosaki says people can even make money with no capital. Shop for real estate deals when the market corrects, because profits are made when buying, not when selling. Fifth, learn how, when, and where to buy, by investing in your education. Sixth, think bigger to get richer, because small thinkers don't get the big breaks. Seventh, most people only look for what they can afford, so buy a bigger pie and cut it into pieces by finding a buyer first, then a seller. Eighth, negotiate volume discounts by thinking big, pooling people together, and buying in bulk. Ninth, the key to financial freedom and great wealth is a person's ability to convert earned income into passive and/or portfolio income. 10th, read and learn from history, because history always repeats itself. 11th, action always beats inaction. The goal of Rich Dad Poor Dad is to motivate you to develop your unique path to financial freedom. While the book doesn't take a one-size-fits-all approach with ready-made answers, it does provide an excellent framework for creating your objectives to build wealth. The most important thing is that you start today. You are your own biggest asset, so the first thing you should do is put some money into yourself to develop your financial knowledge. Financial aptitude is what you do with the money once you make it, how you keep people from taking it from you, how to keep it longer, and how you make money work hard for you. Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad is exactly the kind of personal finance advice you wish you'd been given when you were just starting out in the world. It's simple, it's practical, it's life-changing. And despite its emphasis on the United States tax system, it's widely and enduringly relevant, no matter where you're starting from, who you are or where in the world you may be. If you're looking for a primer to set you up for financial success, Rich Dad Poor Dad is a solid place to start. If you found these lessons useful, please share this video with people that you care about, because we truly believe that applying these principles consistently can lead to tremendous results. To help you in your journey to financial success, we've shortlisted some of the world's best investing opportunities below. Please check them out and start with the ones which resonate with your personality. A quick disclaimer that these links are affiliate links and we may earn a commission should you choose to buy from these links. We wish you the best on your road to financial freedom and we sincerely hope that you achieve it.